Governor Andrew Cuomo out of the Empire State's top office. Experts say cannabis legalization could be poised for an accelerated timeline under the soon-to-be Governor Kathy Hochul. Here with more is Cheddar's cannabis reporter Chloe Aiello. Chloe, it's great to see you on this Monday. Why was the cannabis industry skeptical about Cuomo's approach to legalization?
Hey, Kristen. Well, for one thing, Andrew Cuomo certainly wasn't cannabis's top proponent, although he did at times make himself seem that way as he was pushing to get cannabis legalized during his term in office. It wasn't always the case. Cuomo did refer to cannabis as, quote, a gateway drug as recently as 2017, but quickly changed his tune after a relatively successful challenge from Cynthia Nixon, who actually prioritized cannabis in her campaign. In December 2018, after just a couple months after she had actually conceded, Cuomo announced his own plan to push for cannabis legalization. Despite the fact that Cuomo and lawmakers have both ostensibly wanted cannabis legalization since around that time, with lawmakers having preceded, Cuomo's efforts to get legalization passed for, in some cases, decades. It took about 2 years to get the ball rolling on that. Even now, it's been 4 months since Cuomo and lawmakers passed legalization, and the administration has done little more than set up a website for the Office of Cannabis Management, which is the agency intended to regulate the industry. Talks over who should assume key positions like executive director of the Office of Cannabis Management or Cannabis Control Board chair have hit an impasse, and lawmakers have said that the administration has done little to prepare for adult use industry or advance other measures backed by the bill that they passed. All of this together have led some critics to question Cuomo's motives for passing cannabis, wondering if he only passed legalization to, improve his own image at a time when he was dealing with the nursing home scandal, mounting allegations of sexual misconduct, and suggesting that he desperately needed a win at that time. Camilo Lyon, who's the BTIG lifestyle brands and wellness analyst, even suggested that he has been deliberately slow on legalizing because he didn't want to actually watch sales begin on his own terms. So during his term in office, he wanted to sort of drag his feet and see if he could get out of office before sales were to kick off. So, lots of allegations flying around that and Cuomo's true motives when it comes to cannabis.
And I'm wondering, Chloe, why could soon-to-be governor, current lieutenant governor, Kathy Hochul be a boon for the cannabis space?
Sure. Well, Hochul herself might not be necessarily a passionate proponent of cannabis, but she certainly has made statements expressing her support for the issue. And actually, when she spoke to Cheddar back in January, she made some pretty extensive comments on cannabis. So take a listen to what she had to say.
This is long overdue, something I've been fighting for a long time. Governor Cuomo and I proposed this at least 3 years ago. And so what we're trying to do is rectify a system where we've had a failed cannabis prohibition. You think about alcohol prohibition, 1920 didn't work. This prohibition is not working either. And unlike alcohol, this is having a disproportionate impact on communities of color.
So in those comments, which represent some of her most extensive to date on cannabis, she did mention, the tax benefits of legalizing cannabis amid the pandemic. But she also extensively praised the social equity benefits of the bill and other states that she referred to as, quote, enlightened for legalizing cannabis before New York. Of course, it is hard to know politicians, true intentions until they take action on an issue like this. But these statements have given many in the industry hope that she will move forward with regulating cannabis so sales can kick off sooner than later. We also do know that lobbyists have wasted no time in striking up a dialogue with Hochul. According to CNBC, a firm working on behalf of Columbia Care spoke directly with her along with state lawmakers. The focus of the time was for relationship building regarding cannabis legalization. So one of the lobbyists who, lobbied on behalf of this issue was Kazrer, which has been stated as one of the most successful lobbyists in New York.
Chloe, I am wondering the challenges, though, that Governor Hochul, soon-to-be Governor Hochul, might face in this process.
Sure. Well, it won't necessarily be easy, sailing here. So obviously legalization of cannabis was effective immediately in late March once Governor Cuomo signed the bill that lawmakers and he worked hard to put together. But adult use sales are not expected to begin for anywhere between 18 months from now. So a lot has to obviously happen in that time. And now with Cuomo out, the burden does fall on Hochul. She'll have to step in and fully establish the Office of Cannabis Management, as I was mentioning, which is the agency that's going to be responsible for regulation. It will be overseen by a Cannabis Control Board that she'll have to appoint. And as I mentioned, there has been a lot of back and forth on who is going to take this position. some of the candidates that Cuomo had his eye on were not approved of by the industry. They were worried about his, Norman Birnbaum at the time was Cuomo's top pick. They were worried about his experience in the issue, having only worked in a small market like Rhode Island. They were worried that he wouldn't keep in mind some of the goals of the bill, which were, of course, to set up an equitable industry. So these are all areas that she'll have to navigate.
All right. Cheddar's Cannabis reporter Chloe Aiello. Chloe, I know this is a story you'll be following closely, especially as we're just about a week out from Governor Hochul officially taking over.